done has come to this.
Tom Cruise is back as Ethan Hunt for one final mission in Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, one of few new movies I'll be reviewing this week on CJ at the Movies, along with the live-action remake of the Disney animated feature Lilo and Stitch. I'm Christopher Zweig. Let's take a look. Our first movie is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which continues the last entry, in which you may recall Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt trying to prevent the villain Esai Morales from completing a deadly AI entity which could destroy the world.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
At this point, Ethan's remaining allies consist of the computer tech Luther Strickle, played by Ving Rhames, the other tech Benji, played by Simon Pegg, the pickpocket-turned-IMF agent Grace, played by Hayley Atwell, the assassin-turned-goody Paris, played by Pom Clementif, and the young IMF agent Dagus, played by Greg Tarzan Davis.
Our lives are the sum of our choices. If this was your calling, your destiny, I have no regrets. Neither should you.
Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is a lot of fun with exhilarating action sequences and stars who are able to deliver on their characters, and the budget is between $300 and $400 million, which is more well spent than the Russo brothers' The Electric State. But the problem with this sequel is that it's too long for the action sequences to pay off. You love looking at those scenes, but you also want to get to the point of them soon. I have faith in this franchise, especially Tom Cruise's iconic character, and I'm not sure if this is the last entry, but cut out some unnecessary footage and give the screenplay more originality, and you may have a great sequel. Chris Sanders, the co-creator of the original movie, reprises his voice role of Stitch, while newcomer Mia Keloha plays Lilo, and Sydney Agundung plays her older sister Nani, who is struggling to Jumba, and the mosquito expert Agent Pleakley. They look unappealing in their alien forms, but for most, I basically had the same reaction towards the live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch as I had with The Little Mermaid and Aladdin roles, like Galifianakis and Magnussen, but there are those who still deliver, like Sanders, Keloha, and Agundung. To quote Stitch about this remake, "It's little and broken, but still good." Up next, Jane Austen Wrecked My Life, which tells the story of Agatha Robinson, a lonely bookseller in Paris who is currently writing a book while suffering from writer's block. She's played by Camille Rutherford, and her best friend and co-worker, played by Pablo Pauly, sends her first few pages to the Jane Austen Writers' Residency in England. The hosts are delighted to have her stay with them during the writer's retreat.
Welcome to the Jane Austen Residency.
And we're delighted to count amongst us this year a new recruit.
Welcome.
Welcome. We hope you will be inspired, and we look forward to reading your work.
I believe that some books become part of our lives because they reveal to us our true nature.
There's also a new potential suitor in Agatha's stay, and that would be the literary Professor Oliver, played by Charlie Anson, who also happens to be a descendant of Jane Austen.
I'm Jane Austen's great-great-great-great-nephew. I just think her work is a little overrated.
Insupportable. Joyce, cela pète énormément.
Je parle français, vous savez.
We get very little out of the other writers, who are too busy to get acquainted with the main heroine and the audience, but we are able to see Jane Austen Wrecked My Life as a rom-com that knows the meaning of the words romance and comedy. It knows who the writer is and the characters created by her, and it knows who the target audience is supposed to be. Rutherford is delightful and consistent as she plays a heroine worthy of Jane Austen standards, and Anson and Pauly are respectively entertaining without trying so hard to be her final suitor. There's no awkwardness or cliches riddled between them, and I guess that's what's most soothing about the film. Next up, Hurry Up Tomorrow, which is a cover version of The Weeknd's album of the same name, and also the first collaboration between him and Waves filmmaker Trey Edward Schultz. The bad news is that it's a dreadful movie in which The Weeknd, whose real name is Abel Tesfaye, plays a fictionalized version of himself suffering from insomnia and bad choices.
Call me by the old familiar name.
We also get Barry Cogan as his Irish manager and Jenna Ortega as a troubled young fan. She says she wants to find the source of Abel's problems, but torturing him with his own music, pouring gasoline all over him, and threatening to burn him alive wouldn't exactly help find his inner peace, now would it?
I'm really sorry about this. I really am.
I like The Weeknd's music, and I love Schultz's filmmaking, and a movie that combines these two talents should be exhilarating, but Hurry Up Tomorrow is like looking at a blank wall and leaves you wondering what the point is. This is one of the worst movies of the year, so either don't rush to see it, or I want it gone yesterday. And our last movie is The Last Rodeo, a faith-based drama starring Neal McDonaugh as a former rodeo star whose grandson has been diagnosed with a brain tumor, and his only recourse is to enter in a bull riding contest to raise money for his operation.
$1 million for first place.
Have you lost your mind?
You will not get on that bull.
That went well.
Yeah, very.
Given his age and the dangers of bull riding, there would of course be cynicism, but the retired star is willing to take the risk. Mykelti Williamson plays his old buddy who joins him on his mission.
This could be Joe Wainwright's last ride.
Here we go!
Fearless.
He's good.
Not as good as you.
Not as good as I was.
Co-written and directed by John Abnett, who also made Fried Green Tomatoes and Up Close and Personal, The Last Rodeo delivers with McDonaugh's likable performance, who is passionate enough to represent a retired star trying to make up for his lost family years by being a better grandfather. But somehow I felt it was too easy to be a challenging drama of its kind, and wasn't really warmed over as I was with Ordinary Angels, which also happens to be released by Angel Studios and also about raising money for a life-saving operation. I know what you're thinking about my review. This is a bunch of bull. I enjoyed parts of the film, but not enough to recommend it. Recapping this week's new movies: thumbs down for Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, thumbs up for Lilo and Stitch, thumbs way up for Jane Austen Wrecked My Life, thumbs way down for Hurry Up Tomorrow, and thumbs down for The Last Rodeo. Well, those are the new movies I'm reviewing this week. I'm Christopher Zweig. Stay safe, and I'll see you at the movies.